What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Future Knight Eric here with my OTS winner mat first place live twin deck profile. Now this profile was a long time coming. I did mention in my interview with Spell Speed for YGO Byron that I had used the deck at locals this past week and saw some success. I came first place, and I thought I should show my deck profile, although very similar to Byron's list, as well as drawing many ideas from his list. I thought it was still worthwhile showing my list and maybe mentioning a couple of the changes that I'm going to make after this deck profile moving forward. Before we get into the deck profile, my matchups for the OTS Winner Mat Locals tournament was round one. I went up against Sacred Beasts. The deck unfortunately loses to any one hand trap at any point, so I managed to take that game 2-0 quite easily. Round two was against Bird Up, Tri-Brigade, Luralisk, and although it was my first time playing against the deck, I believe my opponent was playing it for the first time as well, so he was busy learning his combos and his deck as he was playing, and I managed to take that 2-1. Simply because I believe in game one he bricked, ending on just the bird, the Simorgh with the Mist Valley bounce, as well as some hand traps. Game two he also opened up quite badly, but ended up grinding and making a Zeus with a couple of materials, as well as the Utopic Draco Future Dragon. And then in round three I managed to just hand trap him and stop him from getting to his full board. Round three was against Prank Kids Dogmatika Invoked Dragoon against Shark. What he ended up doing in both games, I managed to take that 2-0, was he made Dragoon, and unfortunately for him, this deck outs Dragoon like it's nothing. So I managed to take that 2-0, and then the finals was against Matthew. I went 2-1 against him playing Virtual World. He nibbed me every single game in our match, in all three games, but I still managed to take that match, securing the dub and winning this beautiful mat. This video will also be a giveaway of this mat. As soon as this video is being done recorded, I will put it back in its plastic sleeve, and to find out how to enter the giveaway to win this mat, you're gonna have to watch the video. I'll probably say somewhere in the middle of the deck profile how you can get your hands, or stand a chance at getting your hands on this beautiful mat. Alrighty, so not much else to say there. This deck profile will probably be relatively quick because the deck list isn't solved at this point, but like I said, it's very similar to Byron's list that we discussed in our player interview, which I released, I believe it was on Monday. So to start off, we're playing 3 Lilla and the 2 Kisikil. So this is obviously an exact copy rendition of Byron's ratios. I did speak to him in the interview and say, did it ever come up in his games, you know, that he needed the 3rd Kisikil? And he said it didn't. However, for me, it actually did come up. I feel like Kisikil might be in the grind game, or going second, the better normal summon of the two, because normal summoning the Kisikil, you know, in a later point in the game where you have another body, means you can make the Kisikil link, which can revive the Lilla link, which is a pop. So in later games, the pop is probably more valuable than the draw, but obviously the draw going first is really strong, and Lilla gives you access to your Frost, which is an additional draw during your opponent's turn if they search, and that draw, as Byron said in his in our player interview, it is very important. Sometimes that draw can change the entire state of the game if you draw a hand trap or if you draw a really strong follow-up. So that's the reasoning behind these ratios, but I don't know, I feel like they should both be played at 3, just to have, you know, the maximum chance of opening a body instead of a spell that searches them, because I found myself often on Saturday using the spells to search them, and you know, if those got disrupted, which luckily they didn't, I wouldn't have been able to play. So I'm a little bit iffy with the ratios for now, but I think this is probably correct for now. And then moving forward, I might test 3-2 with 3 Kisikil, 2 Lila, or I might test 3 and 3. Lila is definitely the better art of the two. She's my best girl, but yeah. And then of course we do play the 1 treat. I think these are pretty much standard. You have to play them. You could argue to play 2 Frost for the grind games and also as the better extender because we're playing the 3 Lila. But because we're not playing Desires, you can get away with playing 1 and 1. And then of course finally we have to play the brick. That never comes up. It's actually kind of funny that this card enables you to do degenerate things with the Link 4, but in hindsight it's not a very good card. It's a terribly designed, evenly matched in quotation marks, and yeah, you don't use any of its other effects really much. You could use it to summon out a really big body if you need to get over something. I mean, 4/4 is huge. It gets over a Dragoon that's already negated, but yeah, it doesn't come up often. And it kind of, like Byron says, kind of breaks your own board, getting rid of your links, and the links are what allow you to play. So that's pretty much it for the live twin monsters. For the spells, we're playing 2 home. You have to play at least 1 of this card. I believe 2 is just so you can play through things like Nib, and you can play through certain hand traps like Gamma. So 2 is really good. It does lock you into evil twins out of your extra deck, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're making the Link 4 in passing anyway. 3 live twins Sunny Snitch. This card is insane. It makes the deck's OTK potential a lot higher. The burn effect is very underrated, I feel, and often forgotten, and it's insane that it works. It's kind of like Nib. It counts the normal summon as well as special summons, which, you know, is just insane card design. And then we play 3 Secret Password. So the only thing I would change here is I could potentially cut 1 home or find space somewhere else in the deck to play 1 Evil Twin Challenge, the trap card that is basically Monster Reborn, and then you can immediately link. Reason being is I found many hands opening Secret Password plus either of these or 1 of these, and then the Secret Password isn't as impactful as it normally would be. So I'm thinking of adding the challenge just to have an alternative target to play through things such as Nib. That also makes the grind game a little bit stronger. And as Byron said in our interview, it allows you to play under punishment quite well, which is quite nice. If they clear your board, you can bring back the Link 2 without having to go into your extra deck to summon, you know, your evil twins. And then that's pretty much it for the live twin engine. Moving on, we're obviously playing the Dogmatika engine, so we're playing 1 Fleur de Lis and 2 Ecclesia. This engine is absolutely insane in this deck, but this engine by itself, obviously with the probably the best card in the game right now, 3 Nadir Servants and 2 Punishments, this little engine opens up so much. You can grind with this engine, you can OTK with this engine. It's just such a strong engine, and this is definitely one of the best decks to play it in because it can play under punishment quite well. But yeah, there's not much to say. If you can play this engine in your deck, I would suggest doing so. I've actually revised my Burning Abyss Dogmatika list, hoping to take that to local soon, see how that does, because this engine, it's just begging to be abused while we still can. Hand traps. I decided to play 3 Imperm, which I'm going to immediately cut. Drawing this off of your Frost or your Kisikil, you know, during your opponent's turn is terrible because you can't activate it, and it ends up taking almost 3 turns to be able to activate it. You draw during their turn, your turn you set it, then their turn you can activate it again. So it's very slow. In your opening hand, it's very strong, obviously, if you're going second. But I'm thinking even playing a Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill might be an option just as a one-off, because we are playing the 3 Effect Veiler, which is obviously one of the best hand traps to draw off of Frost, not being once per turn, and having, you know, 2 in your hand makes them still live, unless of course it gets called by, which is just terrible. But you know, it's a card you can draw and still use under most circumstances. And then we are playing 2 Ash just because of the hard once per turn clause. So if you draw this and you've already got one, it's rough. That actually did happen at the tournament. I had one in hand and I drew off drew a second one off of Frost, and it was already too late to ash anything, actually. So they were both dead in my hand. And then we're playing 2 Ogre. This is for the Sword Soul matchup, as well as some random Rogue stuff. It's actually quite surprising. I used this in a friendly game against my friend Dom, playing Dracos, True Draco. You hit the diagram with this. I mean, it's just a good card overall. It doesn't come up often where you don't use this card. I mean, you can use it on something against VW. I hit his Satellite Warrior. He still got the draw, but he lost the body that he was using to synchro climb. So it's pretty decent. I think I definitely am going to keep it. I do want to mess around a bit with other hand traps, so like Moonlit Chill as well as Ghost Ball, but we'll just have to wait and see. So that's pretty much it for the hand traps. And then for the strong free agent cards, we're playing 1 Monster Reborn. I did think about cutting this for the Evil Twin challenge, but they both technically do the same thing but differently. Monster Reborn is a lot quicker because you can get back into your engine without having to wait a turn, but I do think the challenge definitely does deserve a spot in the deck. 1 Called By. This is different from Byron's list. I think this card is just too good not to play. Crossout isn't as impactful, I feel, just because, you know, sometimes you sit down and your opponent sets 5 and you have Crossout and it's dead. To go with the Called By, though, we're playing a really strong going second card and going first card, Triple Tactics Talents, and we're also main decking 2 Cosmic just because of the atmosphere at my locals being very back row central. Whether it's one back row like Chuche or Schism, it ends up just being a really strong card. Zombie World, you can, you know, banish the Zombie World and not destroy it because of the Banshee. So yeah, I don't know, it's a really good card. I feel like it does have to stay in the main. It's just to respect back row. And then I'm playing 2 Droplets, which should probably be 3. So what I'm going to end up doing is probably cutting the 3 Imperm for a Ghost Mourner or a Ghost Bull, as well as a 3rd Droplet and probably the challenge. So less hand traps, but probably more impactful going second cards, as well as being able to play through, you know, popular hand traps such as Nib that are floating around in the format. To get into the extra deck, this is pretty standard. We're playing 3 Trouble Sunny, the best card in the deck. This card is insane. This card has no rhyme or reason for being this strong. A 3/3 beta, which is just crazy to begin with. It beats over pretty much everything in the game except like a Dragoon that's negated. Excuse me. A Dragoon that's negated, or a Borrow Sword or Borrow Load. But I mean, it's so strong. The Send effect is what makes this card cracked, especially with the Dogmatika package. No, Dear Servant, send this, add anything because it's 3/3, banish, send the Evil Twin from deck or hand, and then just, you know, break boards, back decks, combo decks, doesn't matter. Non-targeting send is just so strong. And then, yeah, obviously being able to tag out into your 2 other twins, the one that gives you a draw and the one that gives you a pop, is just insane. Only 2 of the pop. For me, Byron said it did come up that he needed the 3rd. For me, it never came up. It actually came up the opposite, where I needed more Kissy Kills to make more Kissy Kills to revive the Lillas. So, I don't know, I feel like this is the best ratio. I wouldn't really mess around with it, and the reason why is because I've got the 3rd spot filled up with a Nightmare Unicorn. So, this is different from Byron's list, and I did bring it up in the interview. I feel like Unicorn is such a valuable card in the 3rd turn after you've gone first, because if you manage to disrupt them enough, or, you know, experience back row deck, what you can end up doing is once you tag out into your 2 smaller twins, Evil Twins, if you draw any live twin, obviously your live twins are dead because you need no monsters to resolve them. If you have your 2 Evil Twins and you normal summon any live twin, even an extender, so I mean special, normal, doesn't matter. If you can then link straight away into a Nightmare Unicorn, you get a co-link to draw, and then it makes your 2nd Evil Twin live, which is really good. So it goes from getting 1 disruption off of, you know, the Trouble Sunny sending one of your Evil Twins to getting 2 pieces of disruption. Then after you've revived this one, you draw a card, then you can Trouble Sunny, banish, send the Lilla, Monster Reborn the Lilla, get another pop. So it allows for very strange win more-esque type situations, but I feel like it is valuable just having a generic removal card in the extra deck as well. And then of course we are playing the Almirage. Byron said this didn't come up for him much during the OTS qualifier, however for me it came up a lot. My smaller live twins were hit almost all the time, so I definitely think it has to stay in the deck. And this is actually the card that bridges a lot of strange decks with Dogmatika. So for instance, in Burning Abyss, 4 of your monsters, I believe, only have 1,000 attack, which is insane. So if you normal summon Tour Guide and they hit your Tour Guide, you can link it away and make Almirage, and then you can carry on comboing with the Nadir, Servant, or Ecclesia. So I mean, this card you just have to keep in the extra deck. That's pretty much it for the links. Then of course we are playing the Zeus package. I'm playing the Sky Cavalry, the more expensive option, but probably the worst option. This card does out Dragoon, but I mean your deck outs Dragoon anyway, so it's weird. I do probably want to switch it out for Gachi Gachi. I just don't have one, which is funny because it is the cheaper of the 2 cards. But for now I'm playing the Sky Cavalry because oftentimes when you summon this out, especially against back row decks, they have to strike this, otherwise you just win. So yeah, or Judgment even. That actually came up on the weekend where they Judgmented this, and then I could just carry on playing. And then for the last 2 cards, I'm playing only 1 Ash Dragon and 1 Ensis. The 1 Ensis is obviously for the double pop with punishment. Usually you're going to be sending probably the link 4 to get that follow-up send the next turn, but it is still good to have the pop. And then the Ash Dragon obviously gets you your Fleur-de-Lis search in the end phase, or, you know, gets you into your Ecclesia if you resolve a punishment. Then onto the side deck, which definitely needs to change because there's an MVP card in here. So 3 Lancia, I don't think I would change this, even though I am playing the Sanctum package in the side. This is just really, really good at my locals, specifically, you know, VW, Zombies, Orcus, PK. It's just really, really good at my locals. Pretty much staple for me. This card won me so many games. It is insane. Whether you're Kaijuing a Crystal Wing, a Dragoon, it just doesn't care. It's just such a good card. And this paired up with your Pankatops makes it even more insane. I actually drew these in combination, I think 2 games the whole day, and needless to say I won those games. You go Kaiju, summon this, attack the Kaiju, attack another monster they had. I believe against VW he had Kaliga, Chuche that was live, as well as Gamma Seal. So I Gamma Sealed the, as well as Crystal Wing. So I Gamma Sealed the Crystal Wing, special the Pank, attack the Kaliga. What he should have done in that instance was gone Chuche, shuffle back 2 to pop. But I guess it doesn't really matter because it would have resolved in the same way, but it would have kept him with the Chuche because then I would have chained the Pank, popped the Kaliga, normal the Life Twin. So either way I was going to break his board, but by attacking the Kaliga and then tributing it to pop the Chuche, I cleared his whole board and all he had was a Gamma Seal, which is insane. I do want to bump the Gamma Seal up to 3, just because of how well it performed, but I'm not sure what I would cut. What I'm thinking of cutting, because of my locals, is Joel. This card is terrible. I didn't side it in once, and every time I do side this in, I see it and then they don't add anything. So it's just, I don't know, it's a very strange card. I'm not really liking it. I've had it in my side for the longest time, and it's just very low impact for me, I feel, because I play against a lot of mid-range decks. I think at big events it's definitely a 3 of in the side, but I don't know. I'm thinking of maybe cutting this for a 3rd Gamma Seal, and then maybe the last one for more back row removal, maybe like a Hey Trunade, more mash removal. And then of course we do play the Sanctum package with the full deck thinning package. So you go Trap Trick, Sanctum, Sanctum, Scythe. It thins your decks of 4 cards, or if you draw, you know, either or of these, or if you draw even the Scythe that you can pop it yourself, is really, really strong. So you have to play that. No Dagda combo, because the Dagda combo requires a lot of extension, and then just more back row stuff. Twin Twisters, Harpy's Feather Duster. And that's pretty much it for the deck profile. I actually didn't say how to get, how to enter the giveaway. So how to enter the giveaway. What deck are you currently playing in this very, very diverse format. Let me know, and if you're not playing a deck physically, maybe what deck are you enjoying online? Let me know what deck you want to, if you could play or you are playing in the current format. And those of you who meet the requirements of that giveaway, one of you will randomly win this beautiful Rocket Revolt structure deck. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today for this deck profile, and this is Future Knight signing out.